Hi again, and welcome back to the ADHD Friendly podcast. I'm Patty Blenderman. I'm an ADHD coach and host of All Things ADHD Friendly. Today is episode 10, the one all about packages, ribbons, and bows. Oh my. So that name just struck me as humorous. So I just thought I would talk a little bit about how I set up my Christmas morning in an ADHD friendly way. And hopefully some of my tips might support you to do the same. So I'm going to begin with sharing what I call a Christmas morning bin. And this is just an old garden tote that I throw my supplies in for Christmas morning. And what is included in this bin are a Sharpie that I use to label things, such as the trash bag. So I have several trash bags, usually 3, spread around the family room where we gather to open Christmas presents. So I label it to make sure that everybody knows that only trash is going in there and we don't accidentally throw out any small gift cards or little gifts. I also include a box that we can just easily drop in items to be recycled. I can just go right in there and keep it really easy nearby so that we're going to recycle things that can be recycled. And then I also like to include a bin that, turn it around. I have a little piece of tape and the name of the person so that they can put their stash inside one place and everything's corralled together. And again, less likely to get accidentally thrown out with the wrappings. And then I also throw a few little thank you cards inside each bin, again, to make it easier when each kid takes their bin up to their room. The thank you cards are already in there. We have a rule in our house: you can't use any of the gifts, play with them, open them, gift card shopping, until you've written your thank you card. So I make it easy for the kids to do that just by including a thank you card in the bins. I put several in each of their bins. The other things that are inside my Christmas morning bin are scissors to be able to, open up any of the tape that might be holding a box shut, or string tying it shut, that kind of thing. One tip that I saw this year in an article in Real Simple magazine that I thought was really clever was to include a can opener, which is an interesting idea. Apparently, so that you can open up the plastic around some things. And so another thing that's on my list that's always included in my bin is a bin for batteries. So I have the little lithium batteries, and I also have a bin with all different sizes from AAAs up to 9 volts, so that if anything requires a battery, we're not having to get up and scramble. We just have batteries right there to plug in. And I thought I would try this out so I could demo on my little lithium battery. It's a plastic casing around it, and it said to use it just like a can opener. And just put it down and then just start turning. So I'm going to try this out and see if it works, so I can actually recommend it or not. I thought it was ingenious because we spent a lot of time trying to open these guys. Oh my gosh, it does work. I'm going to stop because I'm going towards the battery there. Did it cut through it? Well, all right. Initial experiment is a bit mixed. It did cut through some, but not completely. Might be worth trying. Thought it was an interesting tip, so I thought I'd include it here. Other things that I include in my bin are a screwdriver. So just a little one. If you have a battery compartment that you need to open, so it's handy, I keep it in with the little battery bin. Also, I know sometimes gifts will come screwed into the cardboard, so you need to unscrew it to be able to release it. So having a little Phillips head screwdriver handy can really just help the morning go a little more ADHD friendly. The other tip that I'll share is I always have a notepad and pen handy so I can write down the gifts that I have 4 kids. I remember the first year that they were old enough to open their own presents, and we don't live near any family members. So a lot of gifts were coming in the mail for them from grandparents and aunts and uncles. And we realized really quickly we lost the thread of who sent what gift. And it was very uncomfortable when they called later to find out how they liked their gift, to have to say, okay, what did you send them? Because we didn't write it down, and they all got mixed together and we couldn't remember who gave them, and the kids didn't remember who gave them what gift in the excitement of the morning. So after that year, I started making a list, and I just did a little mock-up here to show. So again, if you're listening to the podcast, if you want to go to my YouTube channel, ADHD Friendly, you can see this as well. But I just list kids and me and my husband, mom and dad, down the left-hand side, and then across the top, I list who gifts may have been coming from. And then I just make boxes so I can just easily in that morning, because the gifts have arrived in advance, so I know who they may have received a gift from. And I just include it in my little notepad and quickly write it down as they're opening. It makes it really easy for me to keep up with who received what gift, and to make sure that they're getting thank yous for the gifts that they received. And the kids want to remember who gave them the gift. So it's just a handy little tool that I've been using for years to keep up with what gifts they received and who the gift giver was. And also it's kind of fun over the years, I have to say, to have these sheets. So I remember, oh, when you were little, remember when grandma gave you this, or when you received this, and I remember who gave it to them, because I have those pieces of paper with all of the notes on them from Christmas morning. So it's actually been something that I've come to really enjoy looking back on. So I'm glad that I have those. One last tip that I did see also in that Real Simple magazine article was to, everybody has their cameras handy on their cell phone, but take a picture of the gift card. This again was from Real Simple. They said if you take a picture of the gift card number and the code, if the gift card gets accidentally thrown away or lost, you still have the information so you can use it. So I thought that was a really clever idea that I hadn't heard before, so I'm including it here. So those are the supplies that go into my Christmas morning bin. Actually, one more thing I forgot to mention, a Christmas tote. And for this is just for reusable. So if I have ribbons or bows or gift boxes I want to reuse, I just tuck them into a Christmas tote. And I always reuse Christmas totes, so the Christmas tote reminds me to put more things inside the tote that I want to use again. So I have recycle bin, trash bags, and reusables for Christmas that all have a home to keep the clutter down. It really supports our visual clutter, not to have paper and wrappings everywhere, and to have bins for the kids and for us to put our things easily, and just have a home for them to be stored while we are going through our Christmas morning routine. So those are the things in my morning bin. And the other things that I find helpful Christmas morning are to have a bit of a routine. And so the routine that we've had over the years, and it's still in place today, is we have always had a rule that the kids are not allowed to come out of their rooms except to go to the bathroom until we call them. I always wanted to catch that Christmas morning, the reveal, when they come down and they see the Christmas tree and the presents underneath of it. From the time they were really little, I wanted to get that on camera. So I would set up a video camera and we just hit play, and it, just be like on a tripod, so I didn't have to be behind it, but I got to relive and remember the experiences of them walking into the room and seeing it from, their wonder on their faces that, Santa had visited overnight. And so we always had a rule that they weren't allowed to come out of their rooms until we called them downstairs. But that also gave me a chance to do my morning routine. So that's getting my Christmas bin with all my supplies and the trash bags and everything set out so that everything's ready and I can sit down and really be present and enjoy it. I'm not running around looking for batteries or let me get a pair of scissors. Everything's right there and ready to go. But I also have time to make coffee and to set out cookies and baked goodies that we've made for the holiday season. It's the one day of year that the kids have always been allowed to have cookies for breakfast. I have all different things that I've baked leading up to Christmas, and they're all set out for them to enjoy while we are just sitting around on Christmas morning. And I want to get that set up again. So I'm not running around. I get to just arrive and watch and enjoy and really be present with the family. And then I have an order that the gifts are open, and the kids now, they've learned it really early on that we open Santa gifts first. Santa gifts are always wrapped gifts, and I know people do different things with. If they do Santa gifts, they do it in different ways. Some families don't have them wrapped. We always wrap them, and so they unwrap those first. And one at a time, they each get 3 gifts from Santa. That's just always been our rule. Again, it was always very ADHD friendly for me to have a limit. It wasn't, how many will I get this year? It's just you get 3. You get 3 Santa gifts, and that's it. And so they each open one Santa gift. All of them open their first, and all of them open their second, all of them open their third. Again, it allows me to take it in. I have weak working memory, so I lose the thread really quickly if there's not structure and order to it. That helps my brain to hold on to it a little bit more easily. And that really works well for me to be able to, again, be present and enjoy the moments that Christmas morning give me. And after Santa gifts, the kids each, once they got old enough to, we used to take them to the dollar store, and they would be allowed to walk around the dollar store and pick something out for their siblings. So they'd each have a gift that they wanted to give to their sibling. And so they exchanged sibling gifts after that, and individual gifts that they got a gift for me or their dad. They would give them to us, and we'd open those gifts next. After individual gifts, we open gifts from extended family. As I mentioned earlier, we've never lived near our family members. So there were always packages and presents to unwrap from grandparents and aunts and uncles. And so we moved to that. And that's where I have my list ready, and I start writing down. We open each family member. So if they got gifts from a grandparent, we open all the gifts from that grandparent at one time, so I can write it down and remember what they received from that grandparent. Again, because it's connected. You're opening something from an aunt, and you're opening something from a grandparent. It's all at once that they're opening the gift from that grandparent. And then they're opening the gifts from the other grandparents. And then they're opening the gifts from their aunt. And then they'll open the gifts from their uncle. So it's always followed a pattern with structure after that first Christmas, where it just felt chaotic and I couldn't remember anything. So I put structure in place, and we followed that ever since then. And then after we open extended family gifts, we get to go in and check and see what Santa left in our stockings. And so we always end Christmas morning with our stockings. So that's the routine that has created some structure to our morning, that's made Christmas morning something that I always look forward to. I don't have overwhelm or visual clutter that adds stress to the day. I make it really easy on myself in the morning by not expecting me to make a big Christmas morning breakfast. I want to sit and enjoy. Having 4 kids, it always felt like almost a marathon to get to Christmas morning. And when Christmas morning came, it was just this huge relief that I made it, but it was exhausting to get there. So I just didn't want to have to do anything else. So I really leaned into making it easy for me to be present, to have everything at hand that I might need, and be able to enjoy it with a bit more ease. So I hope that the tips I've shared, the supplies that I found handy to have on hand that morning, and the structure that I put around our Christmas morning might give you some ideas for how to make your Christmas morning a little bit more ADHD friendly. That's all for this week's podcast on all things Christmas morning, packages, ribbons, and bows. Oh my, ADHD friendly. Until next time, tally ho.